Hello, and welcome to your MathUP Classroom WNCP implementation webinar. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through our MathUP Classroom platform and show you a few things I think will help you as you start your MathUP journey. The first thing I want to mention is that MathUP Classroom is a dynamic resource. What I mean by that is it is a 100% completely digital resource. So every 3 weeks, we are updating it to support you as our users. The updates are not major, but they are something little that we can add every time. When you get a MathUP license, you do get access to all grades, K through 8. That was an intentional decision we made to help support you in your classrooms. So first thing that you're going to see when you log on to your MathUP Classroom license is you're going to see this dashboard. This is the location that we as a company have the ability to share with you some of the new things that are going on. So for example, we can tell you that kindergarten K-8 is fully aligned to the WNCP curriculum. The French-facing material is there. We're underway in making the grade 7 and 8 MathUP French available for you. We also try to add some links to you that we think will be supportive for you. So please, when you have a chance, if you want, you can come in here and check out any of the updates that we have listed for you. As well, there is this complete walkthrough with Marion. She is much more eloquently spoken than I am, so I do urge you to take the time to watch this video. It's the longest video on the website, but it will help you as you begin your journey with MathUP. So once you've been into the dashboard, the next thing that we're going to do is our pathway. I'm going to select grade 4 just because it's the middle of the grade, but as I said, you do have access to all grades K through 8. So this is the pathway. Every grade has a pathway, and all the topics are set up by strand. You have a choice of what path you would like to choose. We have some preset paths for you, which Marion created. None of the paths are easier or harder. They were just set up to help support you. We do have combined grade paths, and then we have specific paths for BC. If you are a BC user, you can pick your BC paths as well. If you do not like any of these paths, you always have the opportunity to create your own path. So as you can see, I've created a few paths of my own. You can edit the paths at any time and save them to your liking. If you click set as your active path, what that means is when you do come into your pathway, every day it will be set to this is the path that will show up for you. The one thing I will point out when you are setting your own path is these little red asterisks. What those are is those are prerequisite topics. So what it's telling you is before you teach representing decimal numbers to tenths, we suggest that you teach representing fractions first. So the path I set up here is incorrect because I do not have that listed above. But that is something I would urge you to look at before you set your paths. As I mentioned, we do have paths for our combined grades. So here would be the path for grades 3, 4. In addition to the path setups, we also have some supporting documents. So behind this little I, if you click the I, you're going to see a bunch of supporting documentation for you. You'll see the grade 4 path rationale, as well as the combined grade path rationales. So if I download this, this is what it looks like. And what it does, it gives you some answers to some questions. And then it lays out the topics that you are required to teach in grade 3 and the topics that you're required to teach in grade 4. MathUP Classroom is 100% aligned to the WNCP curriculum as well as the BC curriculum. And so if you teach all the lessons in MathUP, you are 100% teaching to your curriculum. So if you were a grade 3, 4 teacher, what this would do is it would help you plan for your year ahead. So you would know that when you're teaching the skip counting topic, there is no grade 4 topic that aligns. So you are going to have to do some additional activities with your grade 4 students while you're teaching your grade 3 students skip counting. Representing whole numbers is taught in both grade 3 and grade 4. So you know that you can do those together as a team. Marion has gone through and listed all the topics for you, and then she's even gone through and made some suggestions about lessons and samples that you could use when you're planning your lessons ahead. So those are your combined grade paths. In addition, behind this eye, you can see we have some just-in-time professional learning videos from Marion. In MathUP, we have over 100 videos of Marion for that just-in-time professional learning piece. So we have choosing a path, we have combined grades, but then we also have tutorial videos, which are short videos that you can access at any time to help you learn how to use the MathUP Classroom platform. So for today's walkthrough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick a topic and I'm going to go through one lesson with you so that you can see how the lessons flow and how you use the platform. So I'm going to just pick patterns. The good news is that every topic is laid out exactly the same and every lesson is laid out the same. So as you begin to familiarize yourself with MathUP, you will begin to see the repetition and it will become more familiar to you and you'll be more comfortable as you're teaching. So every topic has a topic planning page. So this is the topic planning page of patterns. What you're going to see is you're going to see the diagnostic task, which every single topic has, the topics listed out. So for patterns, we have 4 lessons. Some topics have 2 lessons, some topics have 6 lessons. This one has 4 lessons. Then you're going to have your assessment of learning and your cross-strand task. This number right here is your pacing guide. We do get a lot of questions about the pacing guide that do not focus on it. If it is taking you longer than what we suggested it might take, that is totally fine. You have the time, get yourself used to it, and you can take longer for certain topics. Some topics may be shorter. That's okay as well. So if you click this eye, you will see a short video of Marion explaining pacing, but that is what that number represents. In addition to the layout of our lessons, we also have our curriculum. So if you are teaching to the WNCP, here's your curriculum alignment. We have your curriculum and your essential understandings. What an essential understanding is, when I asked Marion, it's that key learning that you really are ensuring your student learns when they're walking away from this topic. So it's in between the big idea and that very specific curriculum. We also have the alignment for BC. And then if you continue to scroll, we do have our going back, going forward. So what this does is just a quick, easy link to access what was taught in grade 3 patterns or skip ahead to grade 5 patterns. Last but not least, we have our assessment. So we start with our assessment for learning, which is our diagnostic task. Throughout the lesson, we do our assessment as learning, and at the end, we will do our assessment of learning. As you can see, there's a lot of valuable information here for you, as well as a link to our observational checklist, which you can access at any time here. So this is an observational checklist for the patterns topic. Every topic has an observational checklist that you can access through this link, or I'll show you another way that you can find all of them. So that is your topic planning page. On the right-hand column, you're going to see a Post-it note. This is for your use only. You can put whatever you want here. Because MathUP is a single license user, that means 1 license per user. Only you will be able to access these notes. So put what you want. Use this as like a standard sticky note. You can erase them at any time as well. We also have our learning goals. So every topic has all the learning goals listed out. We have some materials and tools. This is not all the materials and tools that you'll be using, or it's much more than it will be using, but it is just a sample case of some of the materials and tools you might use. And then we have some additional activities. Last but not least is the Sum It Up. So I love the Sum It Up documents for 2 reasons. 1, they are written in parent-friendly language, and so it does help support that communication between home and school, which a lot of boards are looking for. So as you can see, dear parent or guardian, this is a summary of the key ideas your student is learning in mathematics. So it's written in parent-friendly language for you. The other purpose or use that you could use if you are new to teaching this specific topic, this is a great place to just kind of get that overview of the key learnings that you're going to be teaching in the topic to come. We do have a glossary of words, so any word that is underlined is a hover definition, and that will be visible for whoever you share it with as well. So in MathUP, you have a 1 licensed user, as well. You have your just-in-time professional learning. You have all your teacher material and all of your student material, and there's only 1 login, it's through the teacher. So when you look at this Sum It Up document, you're probably wondering, how do I share this with my parents or guardians of my students? Well, there's 2 options. This little paper clip is what we call our get link. If you click on the get link, you copy the link there. You could send this in an email, and this is the link that your parent or guardian of your student would open up and read. So dear parent or guardian, it would show exactly what they're going to be, the key learnings for the lesson. as well as some definitions of the hover definitions listed in the document. When sharing your get links, the one thing I will mention is they are only valid for 14 days. So if you shared all the get links, all the sum it ups for the entire year, they will only be active for 14 days. If you shared it and your parent didn't check it till a month later, the link would be expired, so they'd have to come back to you. The other option is the PDF. So you can download the PDF and share this, print this off and put it in your students' book bags and send it home as well. So those are your two sharing options of your Sum It Up. So we've gone through our dashboard. We've looked at our topic and we've selected our topic of grade 4 patterns. We've done our topic planning page. Now we're going to jump to our diagnostic task. So every topic starts with a diagnostic task. This is where you're really going to start to see Marion's language come through. There is a lot of writing here. If you do not want that additional support and you just want to get to the student material, you always have the ability to either display all, display strictly the teacher content, or just the student tasks and assessment. So that option is always there for you if you want, if you get distracted and you don't want to do scrolling. So this is where Marion's language comes in. So in this task, we always tell you what you're going to do in the task. We always give a little bit of support about what you could do to handle the task. We do sometimes create some critical pieces to observe, and then what to do, that differentiated instruction of what to do if your student's struggling. And then you get to the student work, which is the diagnostic task. We tell you exactly how to run it. So provide access to materials such as 100 charts, counters, link cubes, or tiles so that students can use to represent the patterns of question too. So here's your questions and your answers. Anything in blue is for your eyes only, for the teacher. These are the potential answers you might get. Anything in black is the student content. So similar to the Sum It Up, you could share a get link, you could print off a PDF. There's two additional options here. You could print off a modifiable document, which we have here. As you can see, it's just the student material. So you could have this, print this off, and your students could work off this. If you're not a Microsoft user, we do have the ability to switch our modifiable documents to Google Sheets as well. Or you could project it. So if you had a projection in your class, you could always use the projector and you could project the questions. You can see that we do have the read aloud function.
Question 1. The numbers 8 and 24 both appear in an increasing pattern.
We also have the hover definition available through that. When you are projecting, you've decided you don't want to ask all these questions, we have this hidden invisible toggle option. So if you just wanted to ask question 1, you've decided that you know your students, you are the expert in class, and question 2 and 3 just aren't to be asked at this point. You could hide those questions, and when you project, what you're going to see is only question 1 show up. So that's that modifiable option for you as well. MathUP has a lot of information for you. We wanted to have it so that it was like Marion beside you. You do not need to use all that information. And when Marion does go into a class and model using MathUP, she will adjust on the fly sometimes and not ask all the questions. So do not be afraid to modify what is in here or not use everything that's given to you because your students might not need it. So after your diagnostic task, we go into our lesson. So like I mentioned, there are 4 lessons in this topic. We're only going to go through 1 lesson today, just so you can see the flow. Every lesson is set up the same. It is a 3-part lesson. So we have our planning page, which is the smaller version of the topic planning page. And then we have our 3 parts. We have our minds on, our action, our consolidate, and then the your turn. So every planning page will start with the learning goal, what you're going to do in this lesson. And the point is, this is Marion's favorite part of MathUP because this is the first resource that she's ever created that she was able to explain her thinking behind asking certain questions, behind some of the pedagogical reasoning that she put in behind the resource. And so this is the point is, this is her explaining to you what the point of what she's asking you to do in the question is. Then you have how you can handle this. Again, that support for you, that differentiated instruction. You have your curriculum and your assessment. Your success criteria is always listed on the side, as well as the Sum It Up document and your learning goal. So that is your planning page. Next, we move on to our Minds On. So Minds On is supposed to be a short, quick activity, 5, max 10 minutes with the class. It's supposed to just kind of start that thinking of where you're going to be with the lessons that you're learning. So students explore patterns based on multiplication. We have a short explanation of why, and then we explain what to do once they've completed the activity. So we also have suggestions. Again, you are the expert in your class. You do not need to follow through with our suggestions, but students could work in pairs or small groups to answer the question below. And then here's the question. Again, the blue is the teacher content. Students will not see that information. So that is your Minds On. Again, quick 5, max 10 minutes just to kick off the lesson. Then we move into our action part of the lesson. You have all the same material laid out. This is all your teacher content. Again, if you just want to jump to the student content, you can do that quick and easy there. But if we go through it, you have your task, what it is, why, the process focus, as well as the success criteria, and then your action task. Again, we provide that suggestion of how it could run in the class, but you are the expert, so you can decide whatever you want to do. If you continue to scroll, you're going to see this differentiated instruction parallel tasks. So we're trying to give that additional support for you. So if students are struggling with question 1, encourage them to choose either the second column or the 5th column if they're seeking more of a challenge. And then because Marion's done this so much and she wants to provide as much support, she's even laid out scenarios that she predicts might happen in the classroom and ways you could handle those scenarios. So that is your action. If you want to watch a great video of Marion talking about the difference between Minds On, Action, Consolidate, and Your Turn, you could click on this eye at any point, and there's a great video in here for you to watch. I'm going to play a little clip of it just so you can get a feel of what the videos are like.
3-part lessons are intended to accomplish a new way of looking at math, where students are doing a lot more of the thinking rather than just listening. I think what we should be addressing is mostly what the parts are really accomplishing, why the parts are there. So we use names for the parts that are shared by many people, although there are different names. The Minds On, or the getting started that some people might call it, we called it Minds On, is a way to get a student into the lesson. It is meant to be engaging. Sometimes it helps a teacher figure out where the student is. Sometimes it helps a student get ready for the main problem he or she is going to solve. So the Minds On, which is a relatively short part of the lesson, perhaps 5 to 10 minutes, is meant to get the kid involved. The big part of the lesson, or a big part of the lesson, is the second part, which we call the action. Students are presented with a problem. They often work with other students, although that is always at the discretion of the teacher, to figure something out that the teacher will actually use in the third part of the lesson, the consolidation, to bring out the lesson goal, the essential understandings that that lesson was designed to bring out. So in the action, when the students are working, they normally will have a problem to solve. They often will work together. That problem will be selected and was selected in order to help the teacher bring out in the consolidation the essential understanding and the lesson goal. The consolidation will look different than what some teachers are used to. In this particular case, the consolidation is not just the sharing of work. What it is both sharing of work in a variety of different ways, but it's also pulling the ideas that are meant to be the thrust of the lesson out of the work that the students did. And because the focus is on the ideas, it makes sense that a teacher could pre-plan questions to ask the students to make sure those ideas emerge. What we have provided in the consolidation are those pre-planned lessons, as well as suggestions for sharing, to help teachers who frequently tell me they're not sure what kind of question they need to be asking at the end of the lesson to bring out those ideas. What you'll also notice when...
So that's an example of one of the hundreds of just-in-time professional learning videos that Marion has. They're scattered throughout too, so you can access them here, but there's also a way to access all of them at once, a repository of them that I will show you later. So that's your action task. Now we move on to our consolidate portion. Again, you're going to see the same language and the same support documentation for you, your success criteria, then your consolidate questions. So here you can see we only have 2 sharing options. You can either project or you can share your get link. If you have a student teacher in, or because it is a one license user, you can always do a get link. And when you get the get link, once you're into it, you can do all parts of the lesson or only this part of the lesson. So if I click all parts of this lesson and I paste this get link here, you are able to navigate all parts of the student facing material through this link. So this is something that a lot of teachers don't realize, is that they can navigate from here, from this desktop. So if you decided you wanted to have this on your projection screen, you can navigate from here, and then on your actual laptop or your iPad, you could have your license opened. So this is a way that you can navigate that way. And all the student-facing materials listed for you with the same features. So that is your consolidate. And then last but not least is the your turn part of the question. So we go on how you could handle this, the learning goal, the lesson summary, and then the questions. As you can see, there's a lot of practice questions here and support for your students to do. You do not need to get them to do all these questions. And if you think that it's necessary, you could cut some of them out. So just know that you can modify this along the way. So we've gone through an entire lesson. We did the topic planning page, we did the dashboard, we did the diagnostic task. We went through a full lesson from the planning phase all the way to the your turn. Now, once I was completed this, I could click mark as complete, and then you would know that this lesson's done and you could continue to your next lesson. Or we're going to skip ahead and go to the assessment portion of it. So in the assessment of learning, we have our skills and concepts as well as our performance tasks. So we talk about our point, we show the curriculum for this, and then the observational assessment is here again. There's that list that I showed you at the beginning. And then we go to our questions. So here's the list of our questions, our skill questions, as well as our concept questions. Again, more and more practice material for your students to ensure that they are understanding what you're teaching. And then we can go to our performance task. Right, performance task. Again, there's the list if you are a BC teacher, and then here's all your performance tasks. Last but not least is we do have these cross-strand tasks for you. In every single topic, you will have cross-strand tasks. You'll see the point is tasks integrate obviously patterns and subtracting and adding whole numbers. You might observe whether students realize they don't need to perform the calculations in order to make sure the patterns work, how you could handle this, and then you have your cross-strand tasks here. 4 sharing options are back. So you can do the get link, you can do a PDF, you could do a modified document, or you could also project it. So that is MathUP Classroom. That is a whole topic. We've just walked through the whole thing. As you can see, there's a lot of repetition in the way that it's laid out exactly the same, and that content there is to support you. You do not need to use all the content. You decide what works for you in your classroom and for your students. So in addition to that content that I just showed you, I do want to show a few more things. Resources. If you click on resources, you can go to your curriculum index. You could list out the glossary. You could go to your essential understanding index. The other part you can go is your materials and tools. So if you're like me and you like to plan ahead, I would come here if I was teaching grade 4 or whatever grade, and I could come here and I could print off all my observational checklists for the entire year. I could print off all my rubrics tasks. So I don't know if I showed you this, but every single topic has a rubrics task. So this is what the rubrics task would look like. You could have all these printed off for every topic. Here's your path. So that document that I showed you that was listed in the I on the path page, you could also come here and grab all your paths. You could navigate what grade you're teaching and grab the paths from there as well. All your curricular competencies are listed out for you. So all the curricular competencies are there for you to go through. We have additional activities listed. They are all here for you. So this is a great resource for you to come to and get all the material you need so you don't have to go through the lesson. As well, I've mentioned a few times that this is just-in-time professional learning. So we've organized the professional learning 2 ways. We have it organized by topics, but also just by a video library. So if you just want to come in, you have 5 extra minutes, you can maybe get 2 videos in a Marion. You can select what video you want to watch. Obviously, we've listed all of them here, but you can, if you want to focus a little bit more on 3-part lessons, you could click 3-part lessons, and then all of the videos that relate to 3-part lessons are here for you. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about differentiated instruction and combined grades, here's some videos for you to watch. As well, it is listed by grade, so make sure you do navigate what grade you are teaching. If you don't want to go by video library and you want to go by topics, then this is where you would come. So you could pick professional learning by topics, and then you have the option to select what the topic is. So WNCP mathematical processes. This is where you would come. You have a cute video, a short video of Marion right here, and all of the information for you to go through. Last but not least, so we have everything you've needed. You have your professional learning. You have Marion there beside you through her words and through her support. We also have a plethora of additional activities. So we have brain benders, cross-strand tasks, games and puzzles, storytime books, which is just for the kindergarten, number tasks, and wonder tasks. So I'm going to show you what they look like. So for example, your brain benders. Word to the wise. It does open up a new tab every time you do something. So my computer doesn't like all those tabs, so do close them down. So what brain benders are is they're open-ended, engaging questions that allow students to use mathematics creatively to solve real-life problems. So this is a list of the brain benders. These are ways, if you're teaching combined grade and you have your grade 3s doing a topic that does not align, that is not taught in grade 4, you could use brain benders to keep your grade 4 students active and engaged in some work. Another one you could do is your cross-strand tasks. So obviously there's a plethora of cross-strand tasks for you, which is that opportunity to revisit and build connections among concepts from different strands. Again, you can navigate here. We have games and puzzles. We have number talks, and what number talks are they support the development of students' conceptual understanding and flexibility with numbers and operations. So they focus on that mental strategy rather than paper and pencil. And then last but not least is we also have our wonder tasks, which always start with a hook video. So wonder tasks are really fun because you play a hook video. So you can see as I said, it's dynamic. So if you see it coming soon, in 3 weeks, it might be there. So a wonder task, it's a short video and it's a problem-based approach to teaching and learning. So that, in a whirlwind, is your MathUP Classroom resource. Please reach out to us. We have an entire team dedicated to supporting you. So under the contact us, you can see the email. It's support@mathup.ca. We guarantee we will reach out, follow up with your answers within 24 hours. As well, you can reach out to, you can access our facts document, which has hundreds of questions that have already been asked that might be able to help you answer some of the questions you have. So the last thing I want to show you before I wrap up this webinar today is when I was going through, I showed that you could do a modifiable document, and that modifiable document has option to either be a Word doc, which is what mine was set up to, or you can change that to a Google Doc. If you choose to change it to a Google Doc, you would come to your account, click your name. You would click your account. This is where all of your accounts listed. So I have an English license. It's a perpetual license. For those of you who don't know this, we do have English and French licenses. You can manage all your notes, but this is where you can delete. So I have it set to modifiable document. If you are a Google Docs user, you can easily click Save Changes, and then every modifiable document would show up as a Google Doc for you. So I hope you found this beneficial and informative. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us with any questions that you might have. I also urge you to just get started. Pick a lesson and just do it. You're not going to break the platform. Everything is going to work out, and you have the ability to modify as you go and change whatever you think to ensure that your students and you are using this to the best of your abilities. So I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for joining our webinar.